All right, all right. What's going on, family? What's going on? Give this a moment. All right. All right, I'm gonna give it another second for y'all to come on in. Whoever can make it on tonight, it's okay. This video is mostly for the replay on tomorrow. Just wanted to get it out the way. So give it a second. Give it a second. Give it a second. And definitely hit 1 if the audio and video is good. There's no sync issues. There's no buffering. There's no pixelation, lockups, freezing. Hit 1 if the audio and video quality is good. All right. Let me know before I proceed. I would like to know that. All right. Okay. Let's see. Right. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's see what we got going on in here. Let me shout out those of you who were able to make it on tonight or this morning, early this morning. Shout out to my brother Seth, upright in the building. Marcus Jarman, I see you. I see Brooke, shalom. Yason, shalom. Get wise, peace, peace. Let's see, brother Mendez in the building, shalom. Manika Williams, shalom, sis. Eric Tinsley in the building, blessings and shalom to you as well. All right, so family, I did not post this on any social media. So if you'd like, please share this video on all social media platforms. Share this video on social media platforms. If you're brand new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're enjoying the content, hit the thumbs up. And let's wrap. Let's wrap. So a couple of things I want to go over with you guys real quick before we get started. But you all hit 1, so the audio and video is on point. That's good. As you can see, I had to relocate up to the spare room in my house to do this. This is actually my son's room, but we haven't moved them in here yet. Spare room I have in my house, and that what's that dresser right there. We keep my daughter's dresses in here because if it was in their room, even if it was screwed into the wall, they'll find some way to get it off. You know what I'm saying? So my daughters are very intelligent, man, and they like to solve problems. So they'll find a way to get that thing out the wall and find a way to open that up. So we had to keep it in the spare room. But that's where I'm at right now. So because I usually don't stream here, this is why I need to ask if the audio and video is good, because I'm a good distance away from my router. So I just wanted to check in with y'all, make sure that was good. All right. All right. Again, like I said, feel free to share this video on all social media platforms. Feel free to share this video on all social media platforms. All right. All right. Okay. So I guess this is everybody gonna have in here tonight. This typically happens when I don't promote that I'm live. I don't plan to be on here long. You know, I always say that sometimes I stay longer than I normally intend to. But this is just a brief I guess debriefing on a couple of things that's going on and things that's upcoming. And then before we end off, if there's any questions that you guys have, I'll be more than happy to address them for you in a little bit of time that we have. All right. So first things first, if you guys don't already know, I posted it in the community tab. I created the promo video earlier today. So the KHM NYC Chapter launch event will be going down this Saturday, October 16th, 2020 at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the location is 138 Baxter Street, New York, New York, 10013. All right. So that will be Lower Manhattan near Canal Street. Okay. All trains can get you there, whether you're coming from Brooklyn, Queens, you're coming from Harlem, Bronx, or anywhere else. It'll be able to get you there. Now, if you're also in the tri-state area, if you're in Connecticut, Jersey, or whatever the case may be, meet us there as well. All right. If you can make it, because we don't have a chapter in Connecticut and we don't have a chapter in Jersey yet. So if you're close to the area, we would love for you to come out and we'd love to check you out. All right. Have you sit down and build with us and eat with us and bring your children. A lot of people ask, can I bring my children? Yes, we actually have a kids corner where we're going to keep the kids entertained while the adults talk business about taking these cultural precepts that we're learning and transforming them into solutions for the societal ills that we experience in our communities today. All right. This is serious business. We're not coming to New York for play. This is serious business. All right. So Gary Griffin, email requests. Okay, we'll get to that, Gary. I'm going to address that in a second. Just want to, hit a couple of points and then we'll get to that. All right. So I just want to let you know. So we'll be out in New York, so make sure you're there. Free food. We have entertainment for your children to keep them entertained while the adults speak. And we're gonna have a good time like we normally do. All right. It's been a struggle trying to get something in New York, man. Between the airports, between the venues, between the COVID-19 regulations. I mean, so many things has happened. I mean, we wanted to hit New York last year, and then I came to New York in February, not because I wanted to, because I had to. Then we wanted to hit New York up in August. None of that happened. So I guess the time was just right for October for it to be done. I typically don't like going to New York when it's the fall or winter. Move to Atlanta to escape a lot of that. But the weather's actually going to be in the 70s in New York this weekend. So that's good news. You know what I mean? So I can't really complain about that. But yeah, we'll be touching down in New York. Now, also, once we do the presentation on KHM, I'm going to revise it some tomorrow. Well, today, Thursday and Friday, I'm going to revise it a little bit. But we're also going to do a breakout session towards the end where we're going to discuss what's going on with this COVID-19 vaccine religious exemption situation. It's really, really crazy what's going on, man. It's really crazy what's going on. So many people are losing their jobs by being let go, laid off, fired, quitting. I mean, it's crazy what's going on right now. I thank the Most High that we actually saved several people from that happening to. Several others have submitted letters that we have produced for them. So we are waiting back those results as well. And I'm praying to the Most High that those results are positive. We still got another batch of letters that we have to process. I mean, we've been processing letters almost every day, so if you haven't received anything yet from us, please check your email. A lot of times when people give the donation, we send a follow-up email to the email that is connected to the donation that they give, right? So please go back and check that email because we still have some people that gave and we emailed them and we haven't heard back from them, all right? So if you click that link that's in the description to give a donation for the processing fees and for supporting our ministry to continue to have the resources to create this for the community, please check the email you have connected to that donation payment. So that way you can follow through with everything that we say in there so that way we can process your letter, all right? This is a war that's being waged right now. It's not the war whether or not taking the vaccine and the mandates for the vaccine. It's a war on the freedom of choice, right? And you've been endowed by your creator, right, to have the free will in this earth to serve him. And there should be no contradictions, no conflicts of interest. There should be nothing but and against your desire to serve Yah. And as a result of serving Yah, you serve at your job with due diligence, uprightness, and a righteous heart, right? And even though you've poured in years into your job and you've shown yourself and your reputation precedes you, right? Your resume accounts for that, right? Your experience accounts for that. They're still willing to let you go over a vaccine. That's how crazy it is right now. It's getting really crazy. And people have invested 15, 20, 30 years. I had one person reach out and said that they was out of job for 30 years. They refused to get the vaccine. However, they told the employer that they will follow all social distancing, masking, um, quarantining if they do get sick, testing weekly, and a job saying, no, that's not enough. We need you to get vaccinated. And they lost their job. 30 years. 30 years. The person got promoted several times over that period of time, got increases in income, etc. Put their blood, sweat, and tears in a job, and they let them go over a vaccine. It's crazy. So this is a war. This is not a game. And what needs to happen is all the Morays in our community need to come together and support these families that are on the front line trying to maintain their livelihood. Because if these families lose their livelihood, all of these YouTube Morays are going to lose their congregations, their virtual ministries and channels and all of that because the people support these things. And if they don't have a job, how are they going to support your ministry? How are they going to support your congregation? How are they going to support your Knesset, your community that you have surrounded by your own temple or synagogue? How are they going to support these things if they don't have a job? And the thing is that our people, where there's a will, there's a way. They'll find a way to still give. But at the same time, man, we got to create economic opportunities. I'm going to check it. So I employ at least 6 people. Like I actually employ 6 people. So 6 people have jobs because of me directly. Outside of that, I've created opportunities in KHM for volunteers to get stipends, which is supplemental income to help with miscellaneous and other expenses in their household. And 2, we can create part-time and full-time jobs, right? We create resources and other opportunities outside of KHM to help people in their day-to-day life. So that's the key thing. Like this medium and what I'm speaking and I'm teaching, I'm sharing information on is just a means to an end. And that end is to drive our people towards autonomy, where they could be self-governing over their own social, economic, political, etc. affairs. And that is the most important thing, to teach people how to be self-sufficient, right? And if you're a good teacher, no matter how much you teach somebody to be self-sufficient, that individual will still have a lot to learn from you. But sometimes people think if I teach them how to do things for themselves, they're going to have no need for me. If that's the case, then you don't need to be in that position. That's not what you've been called to do, right? You put yourself in a position, a precarious situation that you was not called to be in. So therefore, you're going to feel intimidated and threatened the moment that you relinquish to the parishioners any information that can empower them to do for self, right? So this is a call out to all the Morays. Please step up to the plate, help out these families and individuals who are struggling on the front line to keep and maintain their job because they have chosen not to get the vaccine. Listen, I'm not against anybody that gets the vaccine. If you get the vaccine for whatever reason, personal conviction, you want to keep your job, you want to travel to other countries, whatever, that's your business. I have no problem with that, right? That's your choice. That's your decision. And the freedom of choice, you should be permitted to exercise that. On the same token, those who say, no, I decline, but I will follow A, B, and C protocols to ensure that I do not become a public health hazard to my employees and my employer, also have the same right to say, no, I do not want a vaccine, right? And getting a vaccine is not going to improve my performance at work. It's not going to, empower me to work harder, to work better. It's not going to do any of that. You're saying that it's going to prevent me from getting people who are already vaccinated sick. How? If you're vaccinated, you should be asymptomatic if you do get coronavirus. So how am I a threat to? So it's like, okay, cool. That logic doesn't make sense. However, I will still wear masks, wear gloves, social distance, quarantine. If I come down with COVID symptoms, get tested weekly, see my primary care physician, etc. I'm still going to abide by these things to show you that I'm not being belligerent and negligent, right, with my liberties at the expense of other people and their fear, right? The fear of getting sick. When if you look at statistics, St. John's University is one of the major resources that houses statistics for. Matter of fact, let me show it to you on the screen real quick. I think I probably showed it before. Let me show it again. All right. And there's a much more deeper thing that's going on with this that I'm not gonna say here, right? But I reserve it for those who come out to the New York chapter. And I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna tell you something else in a second, but let me just bring this up real quick. Let me just bring this up real quick, right? Check it out. Let me show you something real quick. Pull it up right now and I'm gonna show it to you, okay? And it says 57% of the US population has been vaccinated. Interesting. Now, I'm gonna show you this, right? Check it out. Thank you so much, JSBS, for the donation. Thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. Let me see who else joined in with us. Shout out to AJ Bethia in the building. Elcom Barlow, shalom. My sister Jacolia's Gem, shalom, sis. Yes, sis. Look, I discussed with you and gave you the PO box information to send your products. Please send them over here so I can promote them for you. Okay. I do like your product, sis, and I want to support, especially for those who have small businesses or other side hustles that are legit and that are designed to assist the community in some way, shape, or form. We're more than happy to promote it on here because we want to expose you to the audience that we have. We have about 20,000 subscribers and contributed millions of views to YouTube. And we want to make sure that if we can, to help you grow your businesses as a side hustle, because anything can happen, right? And it's always good to have multiple streams of revenue. Me, I got 4 streams of revenue, right? 4 streams of revenue. And I encourage everybody to have at least 2 or 3 streams of revenue, right? And there are ways that you can have passive revenue, right? That works for you, or active, depends on what you want to do. We don't say, scams, no pyramid schemes, no MLM schemes, or nothing like that. We don't do anything. Everything that we do over here is legit. Naturopath Eden and Jubilee Main Mission programs is a way that you can join KHM and you can make money on the side as well, right? So if you're interested in making some money or have an additional stream of revenue, then email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. Let us know if you're interested in Jubilee Main Mission, which is our debt elimination credit repair program, right? We teach fiscal responsibility, fiscal literacy, and teach people how to get out of debt, because we want to give our people a jubilee, which they are sorely missing, right? We want to restore that back to the community. And then naturopathic eating is our naturopathic health consultation and education program, and we're designed to teach people best practices in the realm of naturopathy and good nutrition, supplementation, and moderate exercise to improve their quality of life. And with these, we are looking for consultants and affiliates so you can get paid through these programs. Okay. So if you need some money on the side, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. Let us know which one of those things you're interested in, and we'll get you involved in that. Also, we have our KHM virtual homeschooling service that will be up and running next semester. We missed this semester's timeline or deadline, excuse me, but next semester we'll have that up and running, and we're going to be looking for admins, people who are interested in doing homeschooling and helping out with homeschooling and stuff like that. So we'll also have opportunities available for that, and you can also get compensation by way of a stipend, and we're working towards giving out part-time jobs on that. We also have a security team, so anybody have experience in security, anytime we do events like in New York, and you want to do security for us, you let us know. We'll get you to our security director, and he'll prime you about what you need to do, whatever, to go do security for us, and you will get paid for assisting with security. So if you're interested in that. And then we got tons of other things. We got our Shifra and Pua's birthing stool, which is a home birthing program, and we want to set up home birthing centers in cities that we have our chapters in, and we're looking to employ doulas and midwives in these areas as well. We have another program called Handmaids of Zion. Handmaids of Zion is designed where it's a service that people in our community, they pay for, and twice a month we send out home care agents And what they do is they come into the home, they help their parents out with cooking, cleaning, running errands, watching the children to give the parents a relief or a breather for a couple of days, right? And that's what they're there to do, right? So we want to employ people who are in the realm of hospitality, etc., if they're interested in working in that field, right? And we got tons of other stuff, right? We have tons of groups, tons of programs. And if you're interested in what those things are, you got to get the app, right? So I'm going to drop the details. It's going to be here in the banner going across for the app. Or you can email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. Let us know what your interest is. We got a gardening group. We have the Ema Tabat group where we have elder women who are teaching the younger women, right? And it's a group. So if there's any younger women out there, when we say young, we're talking about the ages of 40 and under, right? Because a lot of our elders are 50 and older. And if you're looking for some direction, some advice, some counseling in regards to something regarding this walk, Sister Patricia Brady, she's the one that's heading that actual program. But you can email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com and we can get you over there. This is a way for us to have the elders in our community activated to take care of those who are younger than them, because that's their ministry. A lot of them have time on their hands. A lot of them are retired. So what I've done is restore them, right? I've repurposed them, right? So they can come back into the community and they can pour back into the community all that Yah's poured into them, right? So we have that as well. So if there's any elders out there and you feel that you want to do more for the community, you're retired, you got time on your hands, trust me, we can use all the help we can get, right? And we have tons of other things that we have as well, right? So the difference between what we do here and what's done elsewhere is that we're community oriented, right? All the programs that we have, all the services that we have, all the groups that we have, all the networks that we have, the resources that we are taking in, et cetera, is all for the benefit of the community, right? So when times like this happen, when there's a war on your freedom of choice, right, then you have a community that can be behind and support you. You know, drafting up these letters have been a challenge. Oh, hold on one second. I think I just knocked this out. Yeah, I did. Hold on. I know you're like, what happened? His power went out. Hold on one second. I need some light. Yeah, I knocked the lamp out. Fix that. There we go. All right. All right. That was a little blunder, but we're back. If I was an old church woman, I would say, look, what the devil doing now? Devil taking off my lights. They cut off my light bill. Devil ain't do nothing. That was my foot kicking the wall. All right. So anyway, so the key thing is to have a community and an entity that has resources and support. So in the event that something happens, you will be supported, right? And that's why I've created KHM, because kingdom harbingers mean we're out there to be heralds for the kingdom to come and let our people know that Yah's kingdom will be on earth. But that's the first part. After that, the second thing is to prepare the people to receive Yah, and also so that Yah can receive the people. We must be a set apart people. How do you become set apart? Through autonomy. Because when Yah judges, the only places that's going to be unaffected are the Goshens. We have to set up our own Goshens. Once we have a Goshen, plagues will not touch us. You can truly enact Psalm 91. You understand? And activate those, what we call tutelary spirits. You know, the ones that are watching over you, they call them guardian angels. Remember we talked about the cherubim and how the cherubim are designed to guard things? Like when we get the Lamasu or the Shadim from the Assyrian culture. So the key thing is when we create these Goshens, the Most High will have these guardian spirits, these tutelary spirits to be there to protect us, to watch over us, so that the plague doesn't come near our door, right? When we hide in the shadow of the Almighty, we make him our shelter and then make him our rock. So this is a war. And I see a lot of our people out there, our leaders, our teachers, or whatever, is just force feeding you information. But there's a lack of preparation on how to practically respond to real life things that are coming our way. And I'm not saying that all mores and leaders are like this. I'm just saying some of the ones that are out there could be doing more to prepare the people instead of just telling you join my congregation, or join my camp, or pay for my classes and all of that. Like, okay, that stuff is fine and dandy, but what if I lose my job? You got me? What if I need a religious exemption letter? You got me? What if I get sick with COVID? You got me? What if I had debt? You got me? What if I need to take my child out of school and give them homeschooling? You got me? Yeah, if you taking your child out of school and you want to homeschool your child, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. We got you. If you need some supplemental income to hold you over, if you do lose your job, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. We got you. There's no games over here. So the way we do things is different, and we want to cause a healthy envy and jealousy in our community for people to see what we're doing and then imitate that, because the more we can create resources of things that pertain to y'all out there that support us, the better. All right. Shout out to Dina Charles in the building. Shout out to Angie Love Yah. Shalom to you. Melanated King. Shalom to you. J Lockhart 25. Shalom. I see you. Yahosef Ben Yisrael. Shalom, my brother. Shout out to Cleon B. Thank you so much. I'm trying to help the people, my brother, with diplomacy, tact, and professionalism. You know what I mean? Because we ain't all got to be belligerent and yell and scream and all that other stuff. We ain't got to do that. See, I actually have a conversation with my executive assistant, Gail Gillespie, and we were talking about this entire situation that's going on in regards to coronavirus and everything else like that. And I was telling her, I was like, yo, this it's much bigger than what people think, and there's different ways we can respond. She's like, how do we respond? And because now what's happening is some of these employers are getting these letters and they're like, well, what's an Israelite? They have no clue what an Israelite is. So now they put the onus back on the person giving the letter and say, wait, this is not a legit religious group or organization. We need more information on that, right? So a lot of them say, oh, no. Okay, so what they're going to do? They're not going to send them no camp videos because, look, a lot of people who I've been doing exemption letters for got some good jobs. These are some real Nehemiahs, Yosefs, Mordecais, Esther's that the Most High has in certain places, man. I'm like, yo, this person got this job, that job. People that work for the federal government. There's people that work for Fortune 500 companies. People who work for the state. People that work in finance. People that work in law. I mean, these people got some good jobs. Military, police force. I got maybe about 4 or 5 sheriffs. I didn't even know they were sheriffs over a whole county that are Israelites. So you think they're going to go and tell the HR department, hey, go check out this video from this camp on the street? They're not going to do that. You're going to lose your job. They see that, like, oh, okay, they're going to go to the Southern Poverty Law Center. Oh, I see that group is there. Yeah, that's not legit. That's a cult. Matter of fact, we didn't even know you was into hate crimes and violence. Wait, I'm not into that. Wait, but the group that you said that's signing off on you, this is what they're affiliated with. It looks bad. It looks bad. So when I was speaking with her, I'm like, yo, there's a way to navigate it. But the problem is we have to create think tanks and institutions in order for us to make the connections necessary and produce the material necessary to validate and establish us as a legit cultural entity here in the Americas. So while everybody's out there doing their classes and being more raised and having their congregations and all of that, that's all fine and dandy. But we need to work towards this think tank. We need to create more institutions. We need to put out more scholarly material. We need to make better relationships with other theological groups. And I ain't got to say compromise, but make relationships to establish your authenticity. So when a situation comes where you got a nice 6-figure job and they about to fire you or lay your behind off because you ain't taking this mandate and you need some kind of religious scholar or somebody to refer back to, what you going to do? What you going to do? Everybody that gets our letter, everything that's contained in the letter, they have to take full liability with. However, if it comes back to where they're asking them, who is your spiritual leader or religious scholar? We have our contact information on the letterhead on the letter. They can reach out to me directly and I'll hold them down. That's what I'm here to do. I'll hold them down. However, everything else contained therein, they have to read it, they have to review it, and they have to agree to it, and they have to understand it in case they're being questioned. So I know some people are just sending people over to me, and I'm like, okay, well, if we process a letter for them, I need them to read and review it. That's going to be in the response email, because if you're not an Israelite and that letter says you are, and they do some research and see that Israelites don't eat pork, and they catch you at lunchtime eating a ham sandwich, you done. You don't even know why you lost your job. They don't see you with fringes on, your head wrapped, women dressing modestly. They don't see this stuff. You're going to lose your job. You understand what I'm saying? So the key thing is, this is a serious war out here. And in order for you to win the war, you have to understand. So I've done a lot of investigation, and I see the information that's coming down from several entities to these jobs to get them to see what is a valid religious exemption. How do you do it? Coaching them and explaining to them. So a lot of times when people send these generic letters in, they don't work because the companies are already doing their research. They go into all the websites where you can grab some generic letter and they say, hey, this is not authentic because this is not your personal views. You're taking it from somewhere else. I'm saying it's your personal views. There's no organization backing you. Who's backing you? So they doing these cookie cutter letters, and then they go to other people and say, I need a letter. And these people doing the same thing, going to these websites, grabbing some random letters and giving it to them, not realizing these people at the same job. And you're giving them the same thing at the same job. We don't do that here. That's why we take our time. You can't just come to us and say, give us a letter. It don't work like that. It's a whole process. We ask you questions. Sometimes we have to get on a call with you. So we want to make sure also on top of that, that you also get a part of our health consultation service. We want to make sure you stay healthy on your job because our name is on the line. My name is on the line. My organization's name on the line. There's several people connected to this organization, right? So we take our time with this. Sometimes it is a quick deadline. I understand that. And as I said, we processed 20 something already, exemption letters. And tonight, I think I got to finish maybe 8 or 9 more. You know what I'm saying? And then we're waiting for responses for even more, right? So the key thing is I've been taking a lot of time to do it personally myself to help out, right? Because again, we have to have a concentrated front, and it has to be a united front. And we have to establish who we are, not just by yelling and screaming, but behind the scenes paperwork, think tanks, institutions as well. Check it out. The Mormons, right? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, right? Is considered a cult by Orthodox Christianity. However, they are an authentic religious belief system in a religious body. They have Brigham Young University. Joseph Smith founded the organization or the sect. However, Brigham Young, who was the successor, he's the one that got a little bit more involved into the institution side of things and more of the rites and of passage and stuff like that, literature, etc. So they have their own institution called the Brigham Young University. And check this, I'm not no Mormon, right? I don't agree with Mormon theology. However, they got some good scholars, and their scholars do write some good material. Matter of fact, I cited one of them in one of my lectures. Not that I acquiesce to their doctrine or dogma, and some Israelites, some of y'all picking up that Book of Mormon, you better put that thing down. Anybody you know that's picking up that Book of Mormon, have them email me at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. I got some questions I want to ask them. I want to bring them on the channel. So far, I reached out to about 6 people, and they said, all right, we'll do it. And then I never heard from them. They disappeared. So if you know anybody that is using the Book of Mormon and saying that this is from the Most High, please have them email me. Please have them email me. Because one day on this channel, I'm going to show y'all my shrine. That is biblical. Water libation, I just loaded up a video on Patreon. That is biblical. Casting lots, that is biblical. Tutelary spirits that I mentioned earlier, those guardian spirits, some people call them the ancestors, right? Some people call them Orishas, right? Or other names, depending upon what spiritual system used. That's scriptural. That's in the scripture. Told y'all. The Shadim and what's called the Old Testament of Tanakh are simply guardian spirits of another culture. When you step outside the covenant of your ancestral patron deity or matron deity, and you get involved in other cultures' customs that were not designed for you, those spirits, protective spirits, become adversarial towards you. That's how it works. You go around doing necromancy, there are spirits that protect the dead. They become adversarial towards you. Some people can tune into these spirits. That's fine. They get themselves intertwined with the culture. A lot of people here in America have a new age form of spirituality. And they think I've tapped into my highest chakra, my highest chakra, but they don't even realize where chakras come from. Chakras is not part of your culture. Where you talking about you tapping into chakras? That's not part of your culture. That is a appropriation or a misappropriation of somebody else's culture. That's why when you utilize that system, you can only get so far. I see the same people saying, I'm all spiritual and light and I tapped into my highest chakra, yet they still poor, right? Yet they still can't maintain a relationship, right? Yet they don't even have contact with their kids, they're deadbeats, right? So you got all this spirituality, but you can't solve no problems with it. You just like sounding deep. I got my gems, my precious metals. Tapping into these chakras. I should do a whole lesson on chakras. You want me to do a lesson on chakras? They'll blow your mind. People don't know how to handle this thing because you got to be initiated. A lot of people they're not adepts. They're not initiated. How do I know? Because I know some of those yogis, some of those masters. I've had conversations with them. The real ones from East India that tap into that stuff. I know what the system looks like, and I know an imitation when I see it. Just like if I work for the federal government and I work in their finance department and I'm responsible and I worked at the treasury and we print out real money, I know what fake money looks like. I'm like, oh, to the regular eye, that looks dope. It's not real money, yo. How do you know? Let me show you upon further inspection. This is how you know it's not the real thing. So I'm going to show you this new age stuff that brothers and sisters who think they're conscious to get involved in don't realize that all this information of this stuff has been brought over here to America. This stuff started becoming popular, coming to pop culture in the 60s. However, there was a lot of other awakening movements that came about in the 17 and 1800s here in the Americas. And a lot of the stuff that they practiced stemmed back to that because the person who put them on read some book that they don't even know the history of the author. Man, that's why I teach you about the crap method. Don't know the history of the author, right? Or what they're involved in, but try to co-opt it and blackwash it and present it off to you as some kind of spirituality. That's not what that is, bro. So I'm probably going to do a lecture where I expose all of this. And the objective is not to take away anything from anybody. It's just to give you the information behind it. Just like when I did that lecture on meditation by the book, I showed you the type of meditation that people who claim they're Israelites or Christians or whoever subscribes to the Bible that they do is not biblical. They're not musing over their murmurs at any moment to melodies. They're not doing that. If you're not musing over your murmurs, you're not meditating. Meditation is musing over your murmurs at any moment to melodies. At times to melodies, right? How do you muse over your murmurs? Go back and check out that video. But it's not the form that comes from Taoism. But again, it just goes to show a lack of research that people just use excuses to get away from the text, to get away from our culture because somebody's hurt them, they've been neglected, right? Especially a lot of our sisters, right? They're not getting attached to the proper groups with support, and they feel that they're being shunned, being oppressed, and the Most High frowns upon that. I did a whole lecture back in 2016, and I said before 2017, this so-called New Year comes in, we got to look at the people who are oppressed amongst us and do something about that. So people use all the excuses in the book to escape out of this paradigm just to find themselves in some other paradigm that is misappropriated. And it's like all conscious people only know about Ifa. There's hundreds of ethnicities in West and Central Africa with a whole bunch of religious systems. And y'all are only getting on Ifa. It's the reason why the Yoruba spiritual system has been heavily exploited. If you go to the Igbo, it's different. Oh, the Nani is a little bit more protected. You got to be initiated. They don't just open it up to anybody. Yes, you still have to be initiated in Yoruba culture. However, too many books have been written on that. You got white Babalawos that's out there. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. All I'm saying is that's not their culture. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Thank you, RLB Bella, for the donation. I truly appreciate that. Thank you so much. Eric Tinsley, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Shout out to Miss B in the building. I see you. Yeah, chakras, kundalini energy. I just don't think that people fully understand these systems. They're not adepts. They're not initiates. I can share some information with you. A lot of stuff has been shared with me previously, but I'm not going to release all of it because that would be a disrespect to that culture. However, I'll give you enough to show you whether or not you're on the right or the wrong path. And this is why getting into the Israelite culture, you got to get into more of the customs and mannerisms, right? Or a contemporary form of those customs and mannerisms in order to keep the same vein that those ancestors practice. I don't see y'all pouring out libations like that. Where's your libation pouring? Where's your dedicatory stones? This is all Israelite culture, right? Who's the spirits that are guarding and protecting you? Are you in tune with them? This is all scripture. What? Y'all doing that? Y'all casting lots? When you have a difficult decision? Like, should I stay at this job or not? Do you know how to properly cast lots? That's part of your culture. Hmm? Divination. Do you know how to properly pray? Because prayer is an invocation. Prayer is a form of divination. People don't even know how to practice their own divination system within a culture that they subscribe to. You have to learn these things. It takes time to research it, right? It's not something you just jump on YouTube and just read or watch something. You got to read extensively. You got to watch videos. You got to know people who know how to do it. I don't know a lot of people that know how to perform prayer according to the pre-exilic method, but it's in the Bible. It's there. I didn't have nobody teach it to me. It took me 8 years to figure it out. 8 years. 8 years to figure that thing out. From Christianity coming to be an Israelite, it took me 8 years to figure that thing out. Meditation took me about 5 years to figure that thing out. It takes time. It's not something you can do overnight. I try to give people shortcuts. Just like, y'all know I read a lot. I'm a bibliophile. If you go to my Patreon, I got over almost 300 books on there and almost 40 articles on there. And I give you all this information because it answers a lot of these questions. I don't keep anything close to the breast and say, "Oh, some angel delivered it to me." No, I'm giving you the sources where I get a lot of this information, right? Um. So anyway, I just want to say that there's a lot going on. So at the event on Saturday, I'll be speaking about this. I'll be educating people on what their jobs are doing to respond to their religious exemptions, the criteria they're using to vet their religious exemptions, follow questions that they may ask them, etc., like that, to prepare them for that. Right? That'll be recorded, and then I'm gonna throw it up on the Patreon. All right. So if you're truly invested in this walk and you really want to obligate yourself to this knowledge and information, please sign up for our Patreon, which is www.patreon.com/DivineProspect. Any other video clips that I capture from this weekend, it will be placed on the Patreon. All right. Now I'll speak on it in a debriefing on the next live. Right. However, if you actually want to see the content itself, then you must subscribe to the Patreon, because then the Patreon is going to force you, if you go in there just for that content, right, to go and read some books, read some articles. We also teach you biblical Hebrew, biblical Greek, biblical Syriac, Ugarit. All right. We give you access to paid websites, subscriptions to websites. We get you a whole bunch of scholarly articles, right? What else we got on the Patreon? We got music. We got that you can get for free. We got our calendar that you get access to, and future calendars you get access to. What else we have on there? We got tons of stuff on here. We have giveaways, all types of stuff on there. So the Patreon is designed to give back. When people subscribe to the Patreon, they see their value. And people leave Patreon most of the time is because of financial hardships, not because they don't want to be part of it. And I'm going to say this now to y'all, all right? Those of you who have not subscribed to the Patreon and or have deleted that Patreon because of financial issues, we completely understand. If you need some assistance to get your financial situation back together, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. But just know also that you can drop down or edit your pledge to $1 to $5 if you're having economic hardship. Now, you might not get all the tiered benefits, but you still get some things such as the books, the articles, exclusive content, etc. Right? And therefore, you can hold on to that dollar pledge that you have. And so over time, when your financial situation shifts and change, then you can bring it back up and see anything else that you're missing, but at least you'll be privy of it by being subscribed to the Patreon, right? So I just want to put that out as well so that you're aware of it, all right? Now, also, when we go to New York, right, we're going to do our presentation. We're going to feed y'all, have a situation for your kid to be occupied, right? And then if you want to sign up, you can do so there, right? That's no problem. Or if you need time, you can. Or if you decline, that's okay. Come on, fellowship anyway, right? We're going to have a great time like we always do at all of our chapter launches. And anybody who's been to our chapter launches can attest to you that we always have a great time, all right? So this is your opportunity, if you're in New York, to come and spend some time with us, all right? Okay. All right, so the next thing is, as y'all can see, you can look here on my hat. I finally got my Let's Talk About It podcast hat. Now I got two of them. I got this all white one. I got the one that the Divine Prospect is gold. Now I've been waiting on this hat for 3.5 months. I got this done at Lids at a mall not far from me, right? And I went there and I gave them everything. I paid for everything like over 3 months ago, right? Back in the summer, right? And I went there twice to follow up. And they said, oh, we're still working on it because we got to wait for the image to come back. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Right. So, and then it's inconvenient for me to keep going there, having a call and nobody answers. So today, as I was running my last minute errands, I was in the area anyway. I went there and I spoke to the guy and he's, oh yeah, that person, I don't think she's working there anymore. Right. And that could make sense why they never reached out to me. And then he did it for me on the spot. I'm like, yo, look how fast that was. Right. But now that the hat is here, now we're gonna start the show. This was like the old shirt that I had. Now, if y'all seen that promo video I did, that's the white shirt I have of this right here. Then I have a black shirt of this. And the reason why we have this is because instead of my kufi, is because that one is gonna be more informal. The Let's Talk About It, I'm gonna give you my personal opinions on a whole bunch of stuff that's going out there. The reason why it's a Patreon exclusive is because a lot of that stuff I'm gonna be saying will be flagged on YouTube. I already know. I don't want to compromise this channel. So therefore, I'd rather restrict those sessions over to Patreon, where Patreon is not regulated like YouTube. I could put whatever I want on there, right? So if you're interested in hearing me talk about my personal opinion on current events and different topics and subject matters, the Let's Talk About sessions is what you want to subscribe to, right? And you can only get it on Patreon. So sign up for the Patreon so you can hear me talk about this stuff. So a lot of stuff that I talk about, like for example, I'm gonna give you something, for example, on the Patreon, right? Check it out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show it to y'all because we got a couple of new stuff on the Patreon. But I'm gonna show you something that people didn't really pay attention to. I don't know why, but let me show you something, right? Let me show you something. This is free game. Okay, free game. And this is something you get from subscribing to the Patreon, but I'm gonna show it to y'all for free anyway, right? Check it out. All right, let me see if I can get to it. Hold on. Watch is going crazy. Hold on. Let me see if I can show it to you real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna show you something. This is some of the stuff that I'm gonna be talking about on Let's Talk About It. All right. All right, check it out. Let me see if I can get it for y'all real quick. Hold on. All right, let me share my screen. So y'all asking me how to properly cast lots. So in regards to casting lots, there's videos on this channel that you can just type in Divine Prospect casting lots, and you'll see I did a whole video explaining that. Pouring out libations, I did a whole video on here showing about that. The water libation for repentance and empowerment is on the Patreon. But the pouring libations and breaking of bread, right? Wine and bread, that ritual, I did it at a park. So it's on this channel if you want to check it out. I did a video on meditation. I did not do a video on prayer a lecture on prayer. However, I did break it down in live stream. So just type my name and prayer, and you'll see the live streams in which I discuss it. But that's one of the lectures that I'm going to do upcoming, and I'm going to show you guys how to do formulate prayer, how to put up on a proper appeal to the Most High, how to truly access the divination system in Israelite culture, right? So this is the whole system, right? And again, everything is in the scriptures. The only thing is breadcrumbs in the scriptures. Breadcrumbs that lead you to the mountaintop. Once you see where the breadcrumbs lead, you're like, oh, I get it now. Because this is not supposed to be no shoot it up in the mist and hoping that it lands down. Yo, I love the people that care about me. They's like, it's time for me to go to sleep. Okay, I will soon. I know you know I need to get some sleep because I'll be flying out at 8:20 a.m. on Friday. I've been running errands. I still have emails and religious exemption requests that I have to fulfill. I have a busy day tomorrow. So yes, I do need to get some sleep. I do. However, I want to take this time to personally speak to the people so they know about the event that's going down this weekend. So if you know anybody that's in the New York City area, don't even have to be you, and you feel that if they really want to learn about your Israelite culture, they should be there at that event. If you want to get an idea of the things that we're going to discuss at the event, we did about 7 chapter launches already that I recorded here on YouTube. So just type in KHM chapter launch event, KHM chapter launch event, type that into the YouTube search box, and you'll see all these videos come up where we've already done this and we've already put it on YouTube, right? If you've seen that already and you know you have a family member that's in New York and they have questions about you being an Israelite and what Israelite's about, what you're trying to accomplish, they think that you're cults or whatever, have them come out to this event and we'll change their mind for them. We'll get them to at least consider something different than perception that's been imbued into their mind. All right. So we're here to help you out in that regard as well. All right. So anyway, and Koma Jajed said, "How you on so late?" I just happen to be up because after I end this session very soon, I got more work that I need to do. So I'm always on late, especially on Friday nights. We on late, right? But thank you, and Koma, for being here to support the channel. I appreciate that. So raise the Matrix 7. Any videos on how to properly pray according to the text? Yes, I do have videos where I discussed it in passing in live streams, but I have not done a dedicated lecture to it like I did for meditation. But that's coming up soon. All right. Just like I'm gonna do one on the Sabbath and a couple other things as well. All right. All right. Shout out to Dasharab Da Amu in the building. Cecil Stormy Smith for the donation. Thank you as well. Gabar, I see you. Shalom. Israel for peace. I see you. Shalom. V.I. Jones. Shalom. I see you. Sister Yapa Kalaya. Kimberly M. Shalom to you as well. Let me see. Anybody else that I missed? Dion Harris. Shalom. Yes. I know a lot of you are asking about the prayer. So an example of how to pray, a good example is Nehemiah chapter 1. Nehemiah chapter 1 is a template. The Bible has templates. The key thing is you look at all the templates of prayer in the Tanakh, and then what you do is that you do a process of deductive analysis, which means you look for all the commonalities, all the core functions of the prayers, because there's a variety of different prayers, right? But they all have similarities, affinities, and you deduce down to what those affinities are, and that is the main core that you must include in every prayer that you put up before the Most High, right? And then, depending on the need and the situation, you can tweak it. Remember, what you do in meditation, you should not do in prayer. What you do in prayer, you should not do in meditation. They're two separate things. When you muse over your murmurs, the purpose of that is to, the stuff that's, that's built up inside of you, it is a way to vent all of that out, right? Unhindered, right? Vent it all out, good, bad, ugly, whatever. Vent it all out to the Most High. And as you're allowing this murmur to come out, the things that are captivated inside of your heart and they're released and they come out, now you muse over those things that are coming out of your heart. And now it's being presented before the Most High. Therefore, it's being laid bare where you're allowing him to search you. That's what the psalmist says. Search me, oh Yah. Know me. How do you do that? Through meditation. Musing over your murmurs. That is when you want cleansing. That happens during there, right? But when you're repenting, that is the prayer. Prayer is a form of repentance. However, 1 Samuel chapter 7, they poured a water libation after they prayed. They poured a water libation. That's a custom we missing. That's symbolic. Pouring yourself out, emptying yourself, and becoming an empty vessel for Yah to pour into. That's why they poured a libation of water. Go back and check it out. It's 1 Samuel chapter 7. All right. But prayer is the appeal that you put up. Why? As a form of divination. So in certain spiritual systems, right, a person comes to a babalao, or they come to a priest or priestess because there's some questions, inquiries they have in their life, and they go to them and say, hey, this is a question, inquiry to have. That priestess, that priest, that babalao, whoever, they will then go and consult with a deity, and then the deity will say, hey, give me an Ebo or Ebo, right? Ebo, depending on how you say it, dialect can change. And this is in the system Ephah, which is a sacrifice. You got to give a sacrifice, perform a sacrifice. And upon doing that sacrifice, that's the way that you are covenanting with this deity. They're willing to do something on your behalf. You're looking for, if you want to hear back from a lost loved one, or you're looking for your significant other in your life, or you're trying to come upon some fortune, or you have some questions about something. The people come with these trivial things and don't realize that they are intertwining themselves with something that's much deeper than their trivial affairs, right? But in the system of Israelite culture, we have covenant with God. The ancestor, who's called Abraham, the Most High told him, get a sacrifice, cut it in half. And then Abraham woke up during the evening and he saw a light passing through it. That's covenant. So the answer, the patron deity, right, had covenant with the patron ancestor, and through that covenant, that ancestral line, that descendant line from those ancestors can now inherit that, whereby they don't have to formally employ that, especially now that the temple's not here. But there's some things you can still do in your house. That's why I presented a book to y'all to give you insight on what's called familial cults, how people did these things within their home. They use texts and archaeology. That's the book I showed you as well. Preserve the Israelite, archaeology, and the text, and how to merge those three things to restore our culture. It's very indigenous. It's not what Judeo-Christianity practice. It's something totally different than that. Okay? That's how you know you're set apart. So does it matter where and how much we pour out? Well, it doesn't matter where you pour out, and the amount that you pour out should be a jar's worth. You know those mason jars, right? If you get a typical mason jar, that should be enough for you to pour out, right? So there's different measurements in the past that measures, like a hint, that measures, or hin, excuse me, HIN, that measures the amount that you have. I'll show you an example. Matter of fact, I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that, right? Because that should be for another conversation. Or you can check out the Patreon. I have a video on it. I'll go into that. Or you can check it on YouTube where I did a video of libation, right? Where I talk about that, discuss that, right? We actually poured wine in the video on YouTube, but we poured water in the video on Patreon. Go check that out, right? So Tim Lindley says, will the New York event be broadcast and recorded? Yes, it will be. I'm going to try to live stream. Shout out to Sister Asante on the building. That is our point of contact in New York. That's our official admin of the NYC chapter. She's the one, her and her mom, Leslie, helped me to facilitate and get everything set up. So big thanks to Sister Asante and her mom, Leslie, for helping put this thing together for us. But yes, we will try to live stream it if there is Wi-Fi. If I have good connection, I'll try to live stream it. If not, it'll be recorded and I'll post it up. Okay. So VI Jones says, please, what scripture is best to deal with stress and depression? This is how you deal with stress, through meditation. If you want to know how to do proper meditation, because meditation is how you vent and pour out. Once you vent and pour out and you know where you stand, then you bring that matter in prayer. Because the point I was trying to make earlier is that a decision has been made. You've done actions, consequences are a part of that action, and those consequences are unfavorable to you, so you want intervention, right? This is why I was talking about the other spiritual system. You want intervention. So sometimes a sacrifice is required, right? So now the sacrifice could be your own self, that now you must do the will of the deity that you are covenanting with, that you're restoring the covenant, because the covenant didn't start with you. You're just restoring the covenant that you lost. You fell out of covenant. We're getting back into covenant, right? And then you give that appeal up to the Most High. But if you are depressed and if you're stressed, you must meditate by the book. That's the name of the lecture. Meditation by the book. Type it in YouTube, check it out. And if you perform that regularly, you'll see the stress and depression dissipate. And you'll get to know yourself a lot more than you thought you did before. And that transparency of pouring it out to Yah will further cement that relationship with the Father. All right, so go check that out if you need it, sis. Or if you need prayer, right? You have sisters that can counsel and help and assist. Okay. All right, because we're here for healing as well. We're not just here to throw information at you, right? We're here for community work. We're here for healing. We're here to give you messages from the Most High, right? To empower you, to edify you, to educate you, to encourage you, to equip you, right? We're here to do those things as well. This is a multifaceted ministry. You do have a core vision, but it encompasses subdivisions, right? Within that one vision. All right. All right, so let me show you this article on Patreon, and then I'm gonna end off very shortly, right? Let me show you something real quick. Some of the stuff that we share on Patreon, right? So check this out. Okay, you see this here? Library of Congress research guys, right? Matter of fact, let me zoom in a little bit more. Right? See this? Library of Congress Guide to Finding and Reading Declassified Government Documents. Executive Order 13526 of December 29, 2009, Classified National Security Information, prescribes a uniform system for classifying, safeguarding, and declassifying national security information, including information relating to defense against transnational terrorism. If you have not been reading nothing off of that site, now this is a legit site. You know, people talk about conspiracy theories all the time. I say, yo, validate that. They don't. I go here to validate them. There are tons of declassified documents that validate a lot of conspiracy theories. And all of this is legit. All this is authentic from the Library of Congress, which is a vetted website. It's an official website from our national government. Tons of documents on there. I watched and I read stuff. I was like, what is this? They admitted to this. And this is the stuff that we share on Patreon. One of many things we share on Patreon. So when I do the let's talk about it, I'm talking about everything under the sun, right? But we're always gonna start from a root basis in some kind of article, some kind of headline, some kind of document. It's going to be the basis for conversation. And the things that I say there is going to be very open, right? Very open. I'm not going to curse or anything like that, but I will be explicit if I have to, right? But the good thing is it's a form of transparency. I can tell you my personal views without being shadow banned, without being blackballed, without having strikes against my channel, being flagged. That's why the Patreon is there, so I can give you that information. I've read tons of these articles, man. A lot of crazy stuff in there. However, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about current events, things that are going on in the community, things that are going on in society at large. You know, my solutions for a lot of things personally that I can't share because, you know, I want to keep it as private as I can. But on the Patreon, now that I got my hats, we about to get started. You're going to love this series because I'm very frank, very open, very transparent, and it's my personal perspective on things that I cannot share on YouTube. Right? So please sign up for the Patreon so you can get that, as well as the Death to Dogma series, which will be launching soon on Patreon as well. Patreon is probably going to have the best stuff. YouTube is still going to get content, right? We're going to restart our Sabbath messages for YouTube, and we're going to start other series that we're going to do on YouTube. But there's also series that's going to be on Patreon that's not going to be on YouTube. So if you truly want all the information that we have to offer as a ministry, please support both our YouTube channel and support our Patreon. All right. But yes, this site, I'm telling you, man. There's places you can go to validate this stuff. That's why I tell people, when you talk about what's going on with, you know, this coronavirus, y'all gonna be bioterrorists. Those of you that's neglecting and refusing to get this vaccine, y'all gonna be labeled as bioterrorists. What you gonna do with that? What you gonna do about that? Well, if you haven't read the papers on them, you're not gonna know why they're calling you that, what's the purpose of it, and the remedy and recourse you can get. There's remedy and recourse for everything, even if you're labeled as a bioterrorist. You just got to do some digging, do some reading, know people on the inside. Like I said, people connected to KHM, a lot of people have prominent roles and jobs in society. A lot of these individuals, and they're awake, they're Israelites. Some of them say, man, sometimes I don't want to tell my congregation, my job, because they may look at me. I'm like, come over here then. I'm all right with that. We need more Nehemiahs, more Yosefs, more Ezras, Esther's, Mordecai's. Yeah, we need more people in those prominent positions. Daniels, we need them. Come over here. I'll work with you. Tell me what you got. And as I look you over, you look me over, I can vet to see if you're authentic or not. Or if you're an actual, some kind of spy or some insurgent or some kind of agent provocateur, or whatever the case may be. But for the most part, if you have sensitive information in all the facets of society, whether it's agriculture, whether it's finance, whether it's government, whether it's whatever it is, I have my ear. I'm a spook that sat by the door. Come talk to me. And you identify as an Israelite? Word? Let's work with that. Other groups in camp don't want to deal with those people. I'll bring them over here. This is what think tanks do. But when you don't have think tanks in your community, you can't have watchmen on the wall because they don't know what to look for. Most I said, when the sword come upon a people, what if the sword is a dagger? How do you know where they keep the daggers at? Which side do they keep the dagger? What type of clothing did they wear to conceal the dagger? How do you know when they get ready to use the dagger and pull it out? How do you know if they're looking shifty and suspicious? How do you know that? If you're just looking for a big sword, you didn't miss all the other things that can attack you. You need intelligence in your organization, in your community. If you don't have intelligence, I mean, we're doomed. We don't got no breathing room, right? So anyway, that's just some of the stuff I wanted to share with y'all. But yes, please subscribe to the Patreon so you can go and partake. When I do this series, it's going to be a wrap. When I do the Death to Dogma, all that Judeo-Christian doctrine is going to be put to death, man. We body bagging all of that. All of it. 30 minutes or less, body bagging it. And on the Patreon, we're going to do an exclusive Q&A. So if you have a question that you had that you ever wanted to get answered, we're going to do 15 to 20 minutes on any question that we get. I'm going to give you as much information as I can in 15, 20 minutes to go back and do your research, right? And that's the thing. I don't want to spoon feed you, right? I want to teach you how to hold the spoon and how to feed yourself, right? That's the goal. A lot of people get frustrated at this type of teaching because they're not used to somebody training them to teach themselves. That's what we do here at KHM, right? Shout out to Tay G, 9 Deuce in the building. Shalom. Yaakov James, shalom. Israelite for peace, shalom. I think I shalommed you already. My brother Kenneth, Yashra L, shalom King. What's going on? All right. I think that's everything I got to say on today. But remember, if you or anybody you know that is in New York City or the tri-state area, have them converge at 138 Baxter Street, New York, 113 on this Saturday, October 16th. When they get there, they can just ask for, whoever's there, where's the KHM event is at, or we'll have somebody downstairs, or you can call the number 678-430-3832, 678-430-3832, or email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. On the promo video, all the contact information is there. So if you get there, you don't know where to go, what's going on, call that number, right? And or shoot an email and we'll come get you. All right. All right. So before I go, are there any last minute questions that I can answer real quick? I'm going to spend another 10, 15 minutes addressing whatever question is here. Gary Griffith Jr., no problem. That's what we're here for. We're talking about watchmen. How many people in the community is showing you the Library of Congress website to go and look at declassified information? You know how many stuff the government admitted to and stuff the government was doing that's now declassified that you can read for yourself, that you can use as a primary source if you're putting forth a conspiracy theory, which I don't like to do. I have to have some basis and a valid source before I come out and say something. Unless I'm just giving you my opinion, right? That's what this is for. I just throw out my opinion. On this channel, I got to validate it. The fact checker is going to come flag my channel, prevent the YouTube algorithms from bringing it up to the top and other people to see it and lowering the visibility and all of that. I'm not here to jump on trends, man. I'm not here to do that. This channel is based and founded upon autonomy. It's based and founded upon being heralds for the Most High's kingdom that's to come. It's based on teaching our people how to prepare for what's about to happen, how to make close-knit communities, how to create Goshens, giving you the education to reconstruct and restore the culture that you've been thousands of years separated from, to give it back to you. So you can be a more close-knit community, and from that closeness of that community, you become a village, and the village creates autonomy. It creates barriers to protect itself from agents designed to infiltrate, undermine, and overtake them. It is your external immune system, your culture. Culture also teaches you how to solve problems. It should. Practical problems for anything that comes your way. There's a template for everything. So that's what we're here for. If you want something other than that, that's not what this channel is here for. I'm sorry to disappoint you. That's not what we're here for. We're going to educate, equip, edify, empower. Educate, equip, edify, empower, and educate, equip, edify, empower. I said it earlier, and encourage. There we go. Wow, that's crazy. So the variety of content that we have on this channel is phenomenal. There's so many different things that we address, that we discuss on this channel. There's so much so many flavors on this channel, right? There's so much content on here. And if you go to the Patreon, there's even more content on here. It's a 24/7, 365 after party to this channel. All right. All right. So Seth, you asked me about a Patreon message. No, I still have some Patreon messages I have to go through. So if you or anybody else has sent a message, I have to go and check that out. Let me see what you said. Yes, it can be. It definitely can be. As long as the test that you get shows you don't have any active antibodies, or you don't have an active infection, you can definitely. So those of you who already had COVID and you pass it through your system and you have your secondary antibodies to it, then yes, you can add that to an exemption letter, right? But what you need to also do is give a copy of a COVID test that you've taken since you've cleared COVID out your system, to show that you're testing negative for any active infection. All right, and that you actually have antibodies. So if you have that paperwork, you can make a copy of it or get a statement from your primary care physician and add that to your exemption letter. All right. However, your job can still mandate for you to wear masks and social distance, or whatever the case may be. Right. And you can even request to work from home if that's the type of work or job that you have as well. Right. There's laws that protect you against that. Matter of fact, let me give you some more free game. Let me give you all some more free game. More free game. All right. Check it out. Here's more free game. All right, check it out. All right, let me blow this up on my screen. All right, you see this? Let me scroll up so you can see the top. Right, this is from the United States Department of Labor, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Right, protecting workers, guidance on mitigating, which means lessening, and preventing the spread of COVID-19 in the workplace. Okay, the purpose is, this guidance is designed to help employers protect workers who are unvaccinated, including people who are not fully vaccinated or otherwise at risk, as defined in the text box below, including if they are immunocompromised, and also implement new guidance involving workers who are fully vaccinated but located in areas of substantial or high community transmission. This guidance contains recommendations as well as descriptions of the occupational safety and health administration's mandatory safety and health standards, the latter of which are clearly labeled throughout as mandatory OSHA standards. The recommendations are advisory in nature and informational in content and intended to assist employers in providing a safe and healthy workplace free from recognized hazards that are causing or likely to cause death or serious harm. You must refer to this in your exemption letter. Okay? You must read this and understand that. This evidence has led the CDC to update recommendations for fully vaccinated people to reduce their risk of becoming infected with the Delta variant and potentially spread into others, including by, and this is talking about fully vaccinated people from spreading the Delta variant. How wild is that? Even though you've been vaccinated for COVID-19, you still have to, it's still advised that you do these things, wearing a mask, choosing to wear a mask, and getting tested. Even though you got vaccinated, you're being treated as if you wasn't vaccinated. Okay. Please take time to read this so you can understand all of this. What workers need to know about COVID-19 protections in the workplace. Vaccination is the key. You should follow recommended precautions and policies at your workplace. The CDC recommends that fully vaccinated people wear a mask. Even if your employer does not have a COVID-19 prevention program, if you are unvaccinated or otherwise at risk, you can help protect yourself by following the steps below. This has to be in your religious exemption letter. We lay it all out for you, though. This needs to be in your religious exemption letter if you're going to do it yourself. You have to go to sources like this and cite them. Okay, let me tell you. Matter of fact, I might save this for Saturday. Make sure you'll come out Saturday, watch the video Saturday. I'm going to talk about all the things that need to be in a religious exemption letter in order for it to be approved. Now, again, I'm not saying it's 100% guarantee, and we don't guarantee that. So if you've given us a donation and we created a letter for you and you submitted it and they did not approve it, we can't guarantee it. But we're saying that it heightens or it lifts up your level of leverage you have because we cite all the necessary things. So if your employer does deny you and you decide to go the legal route, you have all of this on your side. Then your employer has to address why they did not acquiesce to this, why they did not follow these recommendations here. Okay? So take a moment and read all of this. Because let's say, for example, your job has not updated their HVAC systems. This is one of the suggestions. You can say, hey, look, you said that you want me to get vaccinated because the transmission rate of COVID-19 is high in this area amongst this workplace and workers who've gotten it. But wait a second, I see that you guys didn't update your HVAC unit. Can you show me the inspection that was done on the HVAC unit? Oh, so you guys didn't update that. Oh, and that's why people are catching COVID. All right, noted. Perform routine cleaning and disinfection. We still seeing rats around. You're supposed to be cleaning according to the OSHA's guidelines. Oh, you didn't do that? Oh, okay. I'm just checking. Record and report COVID-19 infections and deaths. Oh, we only got 2 of those here, and we got 200 employees, and you want me to get vaccinated? Oh, okay. Just want to put that on record. I'm just asking questions. All right, let me stop. Listen, I'm just trying to give you a free game, man. Trying to show you how this thing works. Trying to show you how this works. Trying to help y'all because I love my people. And y'all shouldn't have to lose your job because you want to keep your bodies intact from any kind of artificial insemination by way of vaccinations. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying this. Those of you who follow an ideology that you do not want any intrusive adjuvants, right? Any kind of mRNA vaccines. We talked about that, what that consists of, a lipid bilayer that has whatever substance they have inside, which is an imitation protein of the spike protein. This is one of the various proteins that is used to assemble the virus, right? And then the spike protein is responsible for gaining entry by attaching to 2, I would say, posts on the ACE2, which is one of the protruding elements that come from off of the cell membrane that allows access through endocytosis that allows the virus in. And it follows particular reticulum, endocytic reticulum, and it follows that all the way till it gets to the mRNA, and then it hijacks the mRNA, which is responsible for pulling data from the DNA and using that information from DNA to construct things that the cell needs. It hijacks the whole machinery, the assemblage unit, right? So the key thing is, check it out. Shout out to Israel Free. Thank you for saying that, Israel Freeze. So the key thing is understanding how this virus, how it works. We did a whole video on this channel explaining to you what this virus is, how it works, how it's classified, and what you can do to protect yourself. Right? But at the end of the day, you need think tanks that's going to comb through all this information and use it to protect you, to empower and educate you. So when people come here and criticize my work, I want to ask them, how many families did you save from losing their jobs because of a mandated COVID vaccine? How many families did you save? How many people have you employed? How many systems that you created to provide opportunities for the community? How many problems have you fixed in the community? How many blueprints for resolutions have you given out? How much root cause analysis have you done to uproot the things that have been deeply planted into our society in order to ensure that we are continuously running a rat race? What measures are you putting in place? This is real. Eric Tinsley is funny. This is real. So all I'm trying to do is give it. And see, whenever I talk like this, you see the view counter up there? I don't know, it's down here. Down here somewhere. Don't get a lot of views on these videos. This is information that everybody can use to help themselves with real problems. But if I bet you I was doing a debate tonight, we have about 400, 500, 600 people up in here. I bet you if I was talking about subjects that's trending, I'd have almost 1,000 people up in here, but we will not compromise. I don't care if there's one person in here with me. I will not compromise. You understand? This is what y'all call me to do, and this is what I'm going to continue to do. Whether I get 1 view or 1 million views, it does not matter. There's no compromise here. None. So again, those of you who want to preserve your body from injections, fine. Those of you who got the injections, that's fine. That's your business. I'm not against vaccination. I'm against removing freedom of choice, whether to get vaccinated or not. When it's mandated on you, right? I have a problem with that. When the morbidity rate is 1.6% and you want to mandate it, I have a problem with that. OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health, how come I was messed it up? It's a long word. Occupational Safety and Health Administration has guidelines on how to protect the unvaccinated in the workplace and the vaccinated in the workplace and those who are not fully vaccinated in the workplace. Make sure you check those HVAC units when you go to work next time. Make sure you inquire how often they're cleaning, because you're still seeing rats around this place, and this is dirty and that's dirty. Did they wipe down the break room when I do lunch at? Have they wiped that down recently? Oh, I didn't see that. Are they reporting all of the people that got COVID and all the deaths that are there in that workplace? Oh, they're not doing that. Oh, they're not doing any of that. Okay. Cool. You just got to check. This is to protect you. A lot of people don't even know this exists. So people just grabbing some random religious exempt stuff from online. Come on, you can't do that, because some jobs have religious exemption forms that you got to put your own words in to explain your belief system, why you believe that it contradicts the vaccine. Have you gotten any other vaccines in the past? You know what I'm saying? And if so, when did you change your mind? How long have you been affiliated with this religious belief system, or whatever the case may be? They ask you questions. Do you have a spiritual leader and or a religious scholar that you can send us to that can validate whatever position that you're purporting here in this letter? And if you cite this, you're protected. Is it physical distancing at your job? If you work on the assembly line and they're not doing physical distancing and they're using that as means to justify why you need to be mandated, say, wait, hold on. Department of Labor, OSHA, says that you must implement physical distancing in all communal work areas for unvaccinated and otherwise at-risk workers. Are they doing that? Instruct workers who are infected, unvaccinated workers who have had close contact with someone or tested positive, and all workers with COVID symptoms to stay home from work. Are y'all doing that? I see so-and-so's coughing right there. That dude's a director. Why he not home? Why you got him here coughing and sneezing and all of that? What was that? Educate and train workers on your COVID-19 policies and procedures using accessible formats and in languages they understand. You gave this policy. I don't understand the jargon in that policy. You must break it down and explain it to me. They refuse to. They're breaking all of these advice that's on here. Are they doing that? Is your job? I'm just asking. Is your job doing it? Watch this. This is the last one I'm reading. Implement protections from retaliation and set up anonymous process for workers to voice concerns about COVID-19 related hazards. Does your job have that? Section 11C of the OSH Act prohibits discharging or in any other way discriminating against an employee for engaging in various occupational safety and health activities. Examples of violations of Section 11C could include discriminating against employees for raising a reasonable concern about infection control related to COVID-19 to the employer, the employee's agent, other employees, a government agency, or to the public, such as through print, online, social, and any other media, or against an employee for voluntarily providing and safety wearing their own PPE, such as a respirator, face shield, gloves, or surgical masks. While you have other people out here that's just preaching, the end is coming, the end is coming. On every video, talking about the end is coming. So fixated on prophecy, they don't even prepare for the prophecy that's coming. When the disciples asked Yeshua, when are you coming? Don't worry about that, man. Go be my witnesses and get the job I told you done. You worrying too much about the future, what's going on. You're not even prepared for it. That's the problem. We're preparing you for what's about to come. I ain't got to sit here and preach prophecy to you all the time. I'm preparing you for when that prophecy comes, you're ready for it. Don't matter what it is, how it look like, you're going to be ready for it. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Shout out my brother Eric Tinsley. Hopefully I see you on Saturday, my brother. Please make it there if you can. So Sister Asantawa says your thoughts on colloidal silver to fight COVID. Well, are you using a nasal spray? If you're using a nasal spray, because colloidal silver can be aerosolized, and you can get a nasal spray, and yes, that can assist with it. If that comes into contact with coronavirus, it will kill coronavirus. But that's not going to prevent you from getting coronavirus, right? If you have an infection, it'll probably deduce the amount of virions that are readily available in your mucosal layer, or what they call the epithelial glands. So that can protect you in that sense. It can help to reduce the symptoms in that region. But just like I said in my video, you have to know the difference between an expectorant and a suppressant. If you have a wet cough, you need an expectorant, which is going to help you to get all that coughed out, and it's going to thin your mucosal lining, right? So that way the body's not producing as much mucus. And then once that wet cough exchanges and changes to a dry cough, then you get a cough suppressant, which is going to help to ease and soothe the throat, right? The bronchial tubes, etc., to prevent that reflex of coughing. And there's natural products that do both, right? But understand these things if you're going to get it to help protect you. How do you improve your lung health? We gave suggestions on there for that, right? How do you improve your immune system? We gave suggestions on that, okay? All that is important, all right? So hopefully that answers that question for you. So you asked me, what's your opinion on global communism and World War III, the mark of the beast? You think the jab has something to do with it? When we say the jab, from my position, and again, I'm not going to say too much detail. There's a documentary coming up called Karagma, where I give my position on it. However, I don't think that COVID-19 is the mark of the beast. I think it's the precursor to what's about to come. They're going to see who's willing to bow down to this mandate. Who's willing to compromise? Some people who get the vaccine, I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm not saying the most I'm going to destroy them or whatever. I'm just saying they may have got it out of necessity. They may have got it because they believe this is the best way to stay healthy. That's their conviction. That's their walk. I'm not here to judge that. For those who do not want to get vaccinated, all I'm saying is if something is mandated and then they give you these benefits, they give you these rewards if you get vaccinated, it's never been done in history. Never heard nothing like that before. A huge push to get people vaccinated when your morbidity rate is 1.6%. And don't you put in your religious exemption letters that they have fetal ingredients in those vaccines. If you put that in there, that's misinformation. And guess what? They're not going to accept your religious exemption. That's not true. Aborted fetal lines have been used in the testing and development stages, but those end products do not make their way into the vaccine. The FDA has very strict guidelines on pharmaceutical companies to identify and outline the ingredients that they have in their vaccines. Please do not put that in your religious exemption letter. You can reference the abortions and those cells being used for the testing and development, but do not say that those items are in that vaccine. That is not true. That's misinformation. If you say that, they will not honor your exemption. Some of you got your exemptions rejected and trying to figure out why. You're sending them generic religious exemption letters, generic letters. Don't put no letters establishing I am an Israelite sovereign on this land, and please don't put none of that in there either. Don't do that. I'm just saying, do not do that. That type of language is very inflammatory, and they will put your employer on the defensive, and they will not honor that letter. I got so many people that hit me up and say, hey, this person, that person from this group, this organization, this leader gave me this letter and it didn't work. Why? I'm like, well, you asking me why it didn't work? You asking me? If you follow what we say on this channel, I break it down. I explain. Like right now, I'm telling you, if these things is in there, it's not going to work. Thank you, my brother, Elcom Barlow, all the way from Alaska. Shalom to you, King. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. All right. Shout out to Shakir, Aggie, King Yashar Al in the building. Shalom. Shout out to Deshaun Hardy. Shalom. And I'm telling y'all, this type of video should have thousands of views. Why? Because even in the midst of a pandemic, even at a risk of a society and a governmental system and a leader structure that is here to infringe upon your constitutional rights, your Yah-given rights, your culture, they're here to impose on that, right? We still like to get entertained and distracted by current events. But prophecy, what's prophecy? What good is prophecy? You're not prepared for it. There's too much stuff that we need to know now because people got real lives outside of YouTube. You sit there, you watch a teaching, you get edified and empowered, then you got to go back to work and think, damn, how am I going to beat this, not getting this vaccination? I'm going to beat this. Damn, I still got debt. I owe $20,000. How can I get rid of it? Oh, I'm trying to get a house. What options do I have? How do I get a house? I need a side hustle. I need to bring in some excess money. How can I get help with that? I'm sick. Got a terminal illness. How can I get help with that? So you turn off the YouTube, but you still got to deal with real life. This is why KHM is here, to help you deal with real life after YouTube. So it doesn't matter if we don't get thousands of views. It's okay. But for those who are watching are people who are real serious, not only about their learning, because, we do scholarship, but we also balance that with the other things, the secular needs that we have in society. We give you both. And I'm not here to be popular. I'm not here to have millions of views and millions of subscribers. I'm not here for that. Right? We holistically educate you and equip and prepare you for this walk holistically. In every facet that we can't fathom. And if we miss something, you let us know, we'll create it. As long as we have the resources for it. But it all starts first with people signing up to be members so we can work as a collective think tank to socially engineer our people in the direction that Yah wants them to go. And we all have brilliant minds and we can do it together. And I want to say I love you and I appreciate y'all for supporting this channel and for supporting me, DivineProspect, and supporting Yah's people and his initiative to make a change in our society. Our objective is to change the perception that society has of our community. Why? Because when situations like this happen with this COVID, and when I do the let's talk about it, I'm going to talk about a lot of other stuff that's coming down the pipe. I'm going to show you documents and all of that, right? When you refer back to, hey, this is what I subscribe to, you want them to pull up a video, people yelling on the corner, cursing people out, calling people names and all of that, and say that's what you subscribe to. And you got a real professional job, you're making 6 figures, you want them to see that? Or you want them to see something like Kingdom Harbinger Ministries? Which one you want them to see? You want them to see me just talking about all the latest trends and open up my channel to a whole bunch of other stuff, you know what I'm saying? And just talking about prophecy all the time and the white man's the devil, all that. You want them to turn on YouTube and see that that's the letter you getting from this person that they write, and this is what they got on their channel, yelling and cursing and screaming and all of that. Now, we get passionate, don't get me wrong, right? But we're not explicit, but we do get passionate. And I exercise my First Amendment right to the fullest. I'm not ashamed by any of the content I put on this channel, right? The key thing is, at the end of the day, when you turn off YouTube, you still got a real life to go to. You're still putting your kids in public school. You still got a mortgage or a rent to pay, okay? You still got a car note you got to pay, okay? You still got to go to the store and buy items and stuff for your family. You still got to do these things. You still got to interact in society. You still got to drive on public highways. Don't say you got the right to travel. Let's not do this, man. You may get away with that stuff in civil. Criminal, then none of that stuff's going to fly, bro. It's not going to work. So where's your ecosystem of support when things go awry? Where can you go to? Can you go to that random congregation that you find on YouTube that you're learning from and say, hey, they're gonna help me out? What they got in place? There's a few of them that do. I ain't gonna lie, but the majority of us don't. I would say the ones that got stuff in place, maybe about 6 or 7%, more 10%. Other 90% are just random teachers on YouTube, man. They'll tell you something, you go do it, you get messed up, try to contact them, there's no contact information. My contact information is everywhere. Okay. All right. With that being said, exactly, my brother Eric, exactly. We have to walk circumspectly while we're still in this society, because y'all still go to the matrix every day. You'll pull out the matrix, go to Zion when you go home, but then got to go back into the matrix when you go into the real world to do anything else. And our people would rather be entertained with gossip, entertained with the latest trend. I'm gonna do this milk crate challenge. I'm gonna do this next TikTok video challenge, and you about to lose your job. Okay. With that being said, family, thank you for watching. I love y'all. I'm gonna close out here because it's 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got a lot of work I got to do before I go to bed. I need to spend at least another 2 hours working on some stuff, and then tomorrow when I wake up, I got to work on some more stuff, and then go to bed early tomorrow so I can wake up early on Friday and then head to New York. So a lot going on. Please keep me in your prayers. I appreciate that. Thank you for your support, for your concerns. If there's anything that we can do for you as a ministry, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. But please, we're asking for more people to join up for the cause and help out. That's why we're launching these chapters, to let people know what we're about, what we want to do, and to get people to join our ranks. Because the more people we have, there's power in numbers. The more we can done and get accomplished, not just here domestically in the U.S., but also internationally and overseas. Okay? So this is a real war going on. And we're doing our best to prepare for it. I've been making videos on this stuff since 2014 on this channel. Just go back and look in the archives. I got tons of content on here teaching you how to prepare. I'm not just over here telling you about prophecy. I'm teaching you how to prepare for when the prophecy does happen. You're going to be so busy doing the work. When prophecy happens, oh, this is prophecy? I didn't realize it. I'm just doing the work. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing the work. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. So, thank y'all for y'all. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Again, anything we could do to assist, let me know. Please, if you can sign up for the Patreon to get more educated on things that are going on. Our new series that's coming out, exclusive content, books, articles, and all of that. It's www.patreon.com/DivineProspect. If you need any assistance in any way, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. If you want to schedule a call to speak with me, you'll see the link in the description below that you can click on, and we're using Square Scheduling, and you can use that to look at my calendar and to schedule a call. All right. I'm getting back to the calls. I had a work contract that I completed last week, was my last week at my work contract. So now I have an in between contracts that I have to reset, get more things in order, structure KHM better, put more things in place so I can get back to you, the people. All right. So I appreciate that. My brother from the South Bronx in the building. South Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx. That's where I'm from the South Bronx, just so you know, if y'all didn't know already. All right. Same to you, King. Thank you, Raised and Make sure I appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up on your way out. Make sure you share this video everywhere because this could save somebody's livelihood. This video right here can save somebody's livelihood. All right. Make sure you share this video on all social media platforms. Get the word out. You know, anybody in New York who's an Israelite or wants to know why you're an Israelite or want to wake them up to the truth, please send them to this lecture. The promo video is a video before this one. They can send that video to them. They get all the details, show up. And if they come for nothing else, there's free food. All right. Free food. Or if you want somebody to watch, I'm going to say somebody to watch your kids, but keep your kids entertained while you talk to grown folks. If you need a small break, we're there to help as well. So send anybody you know and everybody you know who's in New York on the tri-state area to this event that we're having on Saturday. And we look forward to seeing you there. All right. Get the word out. Share the flyer. All right. Share this video and let's get our people there so we can make something happen in New York, because New York definitely needs, especially New York City. Man, that's the concrete jungle, man. That's the Hell in a Cell match. New York City is real right now, man. And the crime rate is skyrocketing out there. It's ridiculous. Scripture says in Jeremiah 29, verse 7, seek the peace of the city and intervene on its behalf to Yah, for in its peace you shall have peace. If you're in New York City right now and you don't feel peace, you're not getting involved enough. And if you don't know where to start, we will create the impetus for that to begin. Join us, rock with us, partner with us, and together with our resources, our experience, and our manpower, and your resources, your experience, and people connected to you, we can create shalom in the city of New York that has over 9 million people in that one city. 9 million people. How many of them really need us? They need to know if the Israelites around, not that all these people that's yelling, screaming at me and stuff like that, but no, when they're around, they create solutions for these problems. They fix problems. I feel at peace. I feel safe. I feel secure. The knowledge that I have is practical. I can apply and solve a problem. I know how to identify root causes and uproot them and sow a different seed. I know how to produce resources for myself and how to create ecosystem support for those who are around me. It's a different ball game when you rock with us. And I'm not saying we're perfect, and I'm not saying that we got all our ducks in a row, because we're still working in progress, right? But this is why we doing these chapter launches, so we can bring in quality people, not quantity. Quality people who wants to pick up this torch and this baton and keep things pushing and put their hands to the plow without looking back. Is that you? And are you serious about this walk? If so, what's next after you're awoken? Is it sitting down, watching a million videos about statute, laws, and commandments that keep mentioning them vaguely and teaching it on periodically, and not really breaking all of them down to you? How do I apply that today and fix this problem that I have? We create programs out of Israelite culture to fix problems. This is why they're called Jubilee Manumission, Natural Path to Eden. There are things that come from out our culture that can fix real world problems. So it's not just the scholarship stuff. Scholarship stuff is about 40% of what we do. The other 60% is real life stuff. But we need you. We need you. So thank you for watching, family. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Those of you in New York, look forward to seeing y'all soon. Please share this video, share the fly, get the word out. And I'll see y'all this Saturday. All right. Love you, family. Peace and shalom.